Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our Let's Play Planet Coaster series here, where we got a lot of decent work done over the live stream on the weekend that you are seeing as we really hammered down. I guess we're calling it Falco's Plaza, right? So it's a little plaza area in front of the Falco ride. And I think this has turned out to be a pretty decent looking little project here. This was a lot of tedious work to come to finish off this whole little area, mainly in terms of, we end up fencing off the whole thing, because in reality that's what would happen. This would have to be a whole fenced-in section, right? It just would be. We do put down a lot of planter work, mainly just because, once again, it's one of those things that we're at a point where we really have to do it. It's not I want to do it. This is the kind of things we have to do. Now, that little squared section right there, we are going to end up putting the sign for Falco. I haven't created that yet. I will create that, and I'll be sure to highlight it in one of the next episodes that we do, so that everybody can kind of see what that sign looks like for the Falco ride. It is going to be kind of following the same scheme as the others. It's going to be the lit sign, or the customizable lit sign, and I like doing them better that way, mainly because I'm better at doing those than I am trying to actually create something with the art shapes. I just don't have that capability. It is what it is. Some people have it. I'm not one of them. So take it for what it is. And we just kind of get this sign set up, built. Like I said, the sign is not actually done yet. It will probably be by the time we do the live stream this next weekend coming up on Saturday. That definitely will be on Saturday morning, because I'll be heading out of town. I don't know, either Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. We'll have to see how things go. But it will be done at a different time. So outside of doing the signage and kind of getting that planter work in, I'm not going to make this whole section planters right there between the pathing. That's going to end up being fencing, and it's necessary fencing, I guess you could say. We can't just decide to go with the a regular, I guess you could say, the regular Planet Coaster size fence that you're seeing. We have to put them on top of each other, right? It's going to be at least a 4-meter segment. Now, I'm not saying that's impenetrable, but it's a more reasonable than having a fence that sits, I don't know, 1 meter high or something, or even a few feet, like a foot high. It just makes more sense, and I think for safety precautions that we would be using, I say we, but the park would be using a fence of about this height, really to kind of cordon off the area to make sure people don't jump over it, try to go get their lost phone or hat, and lose their head in the process. So it does take a lot of more tedious work to put these borders up, and we will be putting high fencing around it, kind of highlighting the pathwork so not to cut that off too much. So it does get a little bit tedious, but I think it really makes the area look a lot better than what it does. Even if this is going to be pretty much a concrete based area, and I just would be willing to bet anything that in reality that's what it would turn out to be. It's not something where we're going to have just asphalt right here, because in Texas, you put asphalt down, man, in the summertime, that's going to be a scorcher. You're going to have people overheating themselves just by standing there. So we do put a concrete base, not that's much better, but it is actually better in the long run. And as I'm thinking about it, watching this, we probably need to put in a couple little shading areas. We do put up some picnic benches all over the place, and regular benches along the sides, and put some little covered benches so people can sit at and kind of relax, enjoy, get something to drink, sit down, watch your family go on the ride, so forth, if you're not into riding coasters. So we will be putting those in, but this episode really is doing a lot of the more detailing work. So we are going to get the borders set up for the ride, and then we're also going to add in some decorations around the track to kind of help bring the track to life. And we go through at night and put in some of the some lights around the track as well. Now, what you just saw there was on the live stream, planning out kind of what's going to probably be coming up next, which I'm still thinking of putting a log flume in that section. So that's really just kind of what we were talking about at that point in the live stream, is just putting a log flume in. It's got a lot of space. It's not going to be like a heavily themed area, since we don't really have that in this park. It's going to be more themed rides for the most part, because that's why you see this ride here. It is, it's one of those, I can say it is what it is, but it is pretty much a more or less a themed ride, not a whole themed area. This just happened to fit in a segment because it's that big of a ride. So we will kind of go through and do some of these borders and some of the detail work around the ride, but that's about it, since we're not going to set up a whole massive section of the park to be based off Star Fox. I mean, as much as I would like to, I say that and it sounds really nice, but it's just not going to happen in that way. Now, I will say we are going to have a couple POV rides of the completed ride at the end. One is going to be a daytime ride. The other is going to be a nighttime ride. So definitely stay tuned for that. Now, I am going to go ahead and hop off while we do some of this curvature work, and then I'll be back here in a little bit as we kind of come to a completion on that and get some of the ride elements put in. So I will be right back with y'all. Definitely stay tuned, keep watching, see how this ride really takes shape as a center point of our park. And I am back, everybody, as we are starting now on the decorations for the area around the ride. That green slime section, that is actually going to change. So it's not going to be those little vats like that. Here, I'm trying to think about putting in the Star Fox fleet. You know, the planes and stuff. I forgot who created those. I don't remember, but I definitely did not do those. They were done by someone else. I got them out of the Steam Workshop. They are incredibly well done. I'm not sure who did it. I just don't remember. So, my fault. Same thing with this other starship that we have that we're leaning up against the thing. To make it look like it's flying and turning, going around a tight turn was the idea behind angling it this way. So, these are kind of the ways that we're getting this ride set up to be finalized. And a lot of this stuff you're not really going to see from the ride itself. You know, what you're going to see it from basically just about everywhere else that a spectator would look at it from, but not so much from the ride at all times unless you were actively looking at it, which I've done when I've been on roller coasters, just not very often. So here we are, just putting in some extra supports for those things because they would be. And then I quickly realized these starships are floating off these poles, figured they need to be supported as well. Now this little vat section, it is going to change. I like the idea of it. I just didn't like the execution with how it looked. So I figure there's a different way to go about this. All right, follow me on this. Instead of doing those things, we can basically just build in our own little slime section using some arc shapes. Not the most difficult thing in the world. It is basically on a grid where what you have is two, basically it's like a 2x1. One gray on each side with a bright green in the middle, kind of matches the coloring of the slime vat that you would see in a Batman movie as I say that. But I like how it works out. We put some steam coming off it. We get these angles going to have it set up. It looks pretty good. Does it look like it's liquid and flowy? No, but neither did those other little, pieces there. So we do go through, build this little slime vat in. We put in some of the steam, I guess steam fog, whatever you want to call it, to give it that little special effect. It kind of looks weird because we light it up green, so it looks like you get kind of some smoke coming in and coming through, which is kind of awkward a little bit, but hey, still pulls it off, still looks pretty decent in the end. So here we are putting it in, and it looks kind of like this odd smoke coming out once it actually does play. And you can kind of see it there. It doesn't look so much like foggy mist. It's more of a dirty steam, something you'd imagine coming out of a subway in like New York City or something like that. But now we're just kind of finishing some of the design to make this little slime thing look slightly better and fit the area more. Now y'all will notice we didn't continue the fence around. That was purposeful, mainly just because we didn't want I'll get that done as we build the park out over there. So now we are about to take our POV rides of our wing coaster in about another minute or so. So I'm going to go ahead and drop off. Stay tuned for that as we kind of get this little last rock section going. Like I said, we will be going live on Twitch this weekend, probably Saturday morning. Not sure of the time, but hopefully around like 10 to 11 a.m. And we'll kind of start working on that log flume that I'd pointed out to y'all earlier. So definitely stay tuned for that. So watch us finish this out. Stay tuned for those POV rides. And I will see y'all in the next episode, everybody. So as always, stay safe. And well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.